So far away, Lucas, who's your favourite member of the Teen Titans?
I mean, I don't want to say it's Raven, but it might just have to be Raven. Just like, I can't not say just the inner edgelord answer.
Yeah. Not so much as well, she has all the best lines.
Hold still.
Ow.
So welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, to another episode of Wiki Weekends, the series where I, your host for this episode, Karl Smallwood, will scour the lengths and breadths of the internet to find a wiki on a subject I'm interested in, and then go through it with my good friend, Lucas Holland.
Hello there.
And see what kind of conversation arises as a result. And today, Lucas, we're covering one of my favourite shows, and that is Teen Titans. Specifically, my favourite character from that show, Beast Boy. Because I like Raven, she has some great jokes, but Beast Boy's my boy.
Dude, that's not funny. I totally have a brain. I just don't use it much.
I mean, in Teen Titans specifically, which is where I mostly know the characters from, like, they're all excellent.
They're all excellently written characters, but I think Beast Boy's my favourite because he's the heart of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Although the show would disagree and say that it's actually Starfire, because they have a really depressing episode where they go into the future after Starfire gets caught in a time portal and all the Teen Titans just disband and become all edgelords. Robin becomes Nightwing and Raven just sits in a house and prays, and then Beast Boy becomes a fucking loser and he's just Animal Man in a zoo and he's got a pot belly. It's no, Beast Boy!
I mean, that's the you can't really blame, Raven or Robin for becoming edgelords, can you?
Not really, no.
Good. If memory serves, we've done the impossible before.
Because, that was their default state. But Beast Boy does, help, just add some much-needed humour to what is otherwise, a quite adult show for the audience it was intended for. And one of the reasons I love Teen Titans as a show is for the simple fact that it seemingly accomplishes something almost no piece of superhero media today can manage, which is blending action, drama, and humour in a way that's not cringy.
As is tradition, the protectors of our world are bestowed with greatness.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'd argue that at times Teen Titans feels more adult than Titans does.
Yes, the show, because it handles some of the subjects a lot better than the live-action show does. I think the best example is the opening scene of Titans, the live-action version of Teen Titans, is Robin beating up a bunch of people and like, fuck Batman! I've got nothing to do with Batman! Batman fucking sucks! I hate Batman! I'm not Batman!
Fuck Batman.
And that's the thing, right? It's it adds blood and swear words and sex into Teen Titans, or Titans, it still is just so poorly written and sometimes acted that it comes across way cringier and just worse than Teen Titans ever did.
It's handled in a far less naturalistic way. And I think that is a perfect point of comparison of just Robin's opening scene in Teen Titans the show and Robin's opening scene. Well, he's not Robin, he's Nightwing in Titans, right? He's not Robin anymore. He's I'm not Robin, I'm Nightwing.
No, I think he still starts out as Robin and becomes Nightwing later, I think.
Either way, whoever the fuck, like I said, when he's introducing the live-action show, he's like, fuck Batman. I'm not Batman, I'm different from Batman. And it's really cringy, because and then you probably have someone asking, well, how else would you get across that he's Batman's protege? Well, the Teen Titans show does that perfectly, because the first moment Robin's introduced is basically the exact same scene.
I'm only here for Tyler Hackett.
Leave the drugs, leave the guns, and walk away.
You should have thought of that before you committed the crime.
And he acknowledges the fact that he's Batman's protege, and then they never mention Batman again.
Hey, this isn't your town. Aren't you supposed to be with...
Just moved here. And from now on, I work alone.
And even when you have a show like Young Justice, which literally does compare them to their counterparts, all of those teen characters are still treated with respect as their own entities and not just treated like sidekicks and like, oh, you know, the non-Batmans and the non-Green Arrows and what have you.
Yeah, and when like Superman and Batman and stuff turn up in Young Justice, it's usually more in a like mentorish role. Whereas in like Titans, the live action show, it just feels like they have to remind you that Batman might turn up. He might turn up. Keep watching. Don't stop watching. Batman might turn up. Oh, look, there's Batman. He's in a shadow. Oh no, it was all a dream. But Batman might turn up again. It's like, it just shows they've got no faith in the characters. And they had the perfect template with Teen Titans. But, you know, we're getting ahead of ourselves. So, Beast Boy, sometimes called BB, he's one of the main characters of the Teen Titans series. He's a former member of... Do you remember who he's a former member of? He still wears the outfit. He's still wearing their uniform throughout the series.
Oh, really? Oh, no, I can't remember.
It's the Doom Patrol, which they do reference in one of the episodes of Teen Titans. I think he has a flashback, and then they go visit the Doom Patrol. And he's one of the founding members of the Teen Titans. We have a quote from him here. I may not be smart enough to do everything, but I am dumb enough to try anything. Which is a great quote, right? That's a really good
That's
quote.
An excellent quote.
It's such a good quote.
Oh, man. I never understand anything.
And before we move on, Lucas, some basic biographical information about Beast Boy here. So his voice on the show is provided by Greg Sipes, whereas D. Bradley Baker provides all the animal sounds. And you must be familiar with D. Bradley Baker, Lucas. We've mentioned him a few times before. Like, he's the Theron guard from like Gears of War and Klaus from American Dad. And just also, whenever you need a guy to be like, oh, rah, 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 like roaring animal man. Actually, I'm going to do that again because that's probably the worst motion I could have made with that noise. That's the glizzy, right?
God damn.
We're over 160 glizzies and doing glizzy overdrive.
And Lucas, we've talked in the past before about people who provide like random animal noises on TV shows and video games, but are there any more examples of that you'd like to highlight of just a voice actor earning their paycheck?
Yeah, there is one with a Destiny 2 voice actor. They play Eris Morn, Morla Gorondona, I think the name is. And yeah, they also just like happen to do a bunch of the noises for like the screaming wizard characters that are just like hailing down hellfire, screaming at you.
I separate the true from the dead. I am the many-mouthed hunger. I am the knife-edged truth. I devour the free. I conspire with my vengeance. I will take what I need.
Well, that's like D. Bradley Baker, where he's a really, really good voice actor, but he's also able to provide like those growls and like guttural sounds that you need for monsters. So, like I said, he's Klaus from American Dad and the Theron Guard, which is way more range than almost any other voice actor I can name off the top of my head. Because, you know, there's the classics, your Troy Bakers, your Matt Mercers. They're very good voice actors, but I would argue they do not have the range of D. Bradley Baker, because they probably can't do the Theron Guard voice as well as he can.
I work on all kinds of different fun shows. Some of my notable characters might be Klaus on American Dad. Hello, Francine. I'm ready for my fish feeding now.
I was Daffy Duck in Space Jam. All right, bub. Oy.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is, it's like his little niche. You get those specialty voice actors where he's just really good at sounding creepy as fuck.
Yeah, and this is where I will reiterate a standing offer I have for anybody who watches our content. So each and every week on a Friday night, I will generally play through the game Metal Gear Rising Revengeance over on Twitch, link to which you can find below. And just because I've played so much of the game, and I've played it so many times, I basically know all of the voice lines off by heart. So I have a standing offer for anyone in our audience. If you would like me to provide a voice to a project you're working on, I will do so for free, provided that is a voice line from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. And only one person's ever taken me up on that, and they just wanted me to make like the pain noises. So I just sent them just a voice line of me doing the pain noise of riding like, ugh! And I sent that to them. And I don't know what they use that for, and I hope it was for something non-nefarious.
And it's funny because when you say Metal Gear and the pain, I think of like the boss character, and I'd love you to sit there and just have all of the voice lines for the pain memorized.
Oh, he's like, yeah, the guy who just fires hornets at people.
Yeah.
What's it? Do you remember your favourite voice line from Metal Gear? Because there's so many good ones,
God.
right? There's so many good voice lines in that game. Because I think one that I like is in Metal Gear Rising with Vengeance. I have like a thing on my Twitch stream of when this voice line happens, we get hype and have a drink. And the one that I absolutely adore, and I don't know why, it just sounds so edgy, is when Monsoon just says, "Welcome to my utopia of death!" And it's like, that's such an edgy thing to say.
Welcome to my utopia of death!
Yeah, and I don't think many characters get as edgy as they do in, like, Rising, but I can't mention any, like, off the top of my head. I just know that I love all of the bosses from like Metal Gear Solid 3. They're all such a good cast. But...
Yeah, because they all just say their name, right? They're all like Pokemon and they all scream their name. The fear's like, the fear!
I am the fear.
I am the end.
It's so like... just the Fury who's just flying around with a flamethrower, just quoting David Bowie, and it's like, you go the Fury.
Or just Psycho Mantis being like, I see you enjoy Castlevania.
I knew it was going to be Castlevania. That's always awful. Let's get it back to Beast Boy now. So, his powers and abilities include animal morphing, that's his most famous one, advanced martial arts ability, superhuman endurance, leadership skills, and above average quick thinker. And his weapons are whatever his current form provides him, teeth, claw, horns, tusk, etc. And we'll go into more detail about his powers in a moment, but first we have his character history, because you might be wondering, anyone at home, like, wait, okay, we've seen the pictures of Beast Boy. Why is he green? Because that's the thing, right? Obviously, me and you, Lucas, we're fans of a show and fans of a character. It doesn't occur to us to ask, why is he green? But there might be people at home watching who aren't familiar with the show and like, why is this character green? So let's explain that now. So Beast Boy's parents, Mark and Marie Logan, also I should point out that his name is Garfield Logan, were geneticists that would travel the jungles of the world to study their various wildlife. Beast Boy was brought up in the jungles of Brazil, Africa, India, and several other places. The Logans particularly became interested in a rare species of green monkey. On the day they found them, something finally happened. Beast Boy was bitten by one of the monkeys and contracted a serious illness. To save him, his parents attempted to cure him with a new serum. His skin, hair, and eyes all turned green. However, he was bestowed with shape-shifting abilities.
What you talking about, monkey? You didn't pick me. I got a Martian blood transfusion.
Martian blood? Okay, sure, that helped. But face it, kid, you were chosen by the magical, mystical monkey god, moi. Why do you think you can only change into animals?
And then because he's a superhero in a teen drama show, his parents later died in a boating accident.
Of course, yeah.
You can't be a hero without having dead parents. Batman taught us that.
It's like, it is one of those weird things of I've never for 1 second actually thought about like, oh yeah, why has Beast Boy got green skin? It's just...
He's a superhero, he's got green skin. But the beauty of Wiki Weekends is that we go through the character's history and their backstory to explain things like that. Because someone out there might have wondered, why is this character green? They were bitten by a green monkey.
Yeah, like, I grew up watching X-Men in the 90s on the cartoons. Like, multiple of those characters were blue and I never questioned it.
Well, that's like one of my favourite lines in like God of War. Speaking of games like fantastic voice acting and stuff. I like that bit where like, just because Atreus is so innocent, he asks Brock why he's blue. And Kratos is like, you can't just ask someone why they're blue. That's a really rude question, Atreus.
So how come Brock's blue and you're not?
Why?
Oh, it's fine. Very good question, actually.
And, speaking of games with Senator Armstrong in it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's the voice of Mimir, the most Scottish man in existence, played by Alistair Duncan. He's the voice actor for Senator Armstrong, the most American man in fiction. God, his voice actor. And the thing is, though, you can hear his Scottish lilt come out a little bit for some of his lines, and it cracks me up.
Oh, really? Like,
you can really hear when you know it that like Alistair Duncan is Scottish. You can hear it in some of Armstrong's lines.
That's the thing. I've watched you do that fight a few times every now and then when I pop into your streams, but normally it's you also getting hype and saying the lines alongside Senator Armstrong.
Yeah, and my American accent's way worse than Alistair Duncan's. But all talk. What? Go on, twat him one. Go on, Raiden. You fuck this libertarian up. We have here personality. So we have a quote from Beast Boy here. It's your life, Tara, your choice. It's never too late to change. And that's like kind of one of the characters that he has a will they, won't they with before they just fuck off and spoilers happen.
Which character is this?
Terra. It's like that. She's only in a couple episodes, but like it's when they try and introduce like the new character to the group, and it doesn't go very well. So she just pisses off.
Is that the blonde girl, right?
The blonde girl with like earth powers.
Take my word for it.
Why does she hate me?
She kinda hates everybody.
So in the series, Beast Boy plays the role of the light-hearted jokester of the group. Although he's the butt of many jokes or backfiring pranks, his years of the Doom Patrol were marked by harsh discipline and battle training that forced him to repress his humorous side. However, once he joined the Titans and found himself with friends closer to his own age, because that's why in the Doom Patrol he didn't really feel himself because he was the youngest member of the team, and when he joined the Teen Titans he's with, peers his own age. He's able to be more himself, quite literally come out of his shell.
Imagine though, you're like, oh man, yeah, I get to go be part of like a teen group where everyone's going to be fun, and it's like Starfire having existential crises about like her not being a human, and then you've got Raven just sitting in her room being like, leave me alone, and Robin sitting in his room brooding as well.
I think
goddamn,
there's a great episode. I think it might be the episode where like Starfire gets thrown into the future, where she's like trying to get them to celebrate one of the Tamararian holidays. And they just go to all the different Titans and what they're doing, and Robin just sits in his room listening to loud thumping hip hop. It's like that's such a Robin thing, right? He just listens to loud thumping hip hop at max volume, sat a foot away from the speaker with his arms crossed. And it's like that's how you get across that he's a weird, edgy loner without making it as cringy as they do in the live action version.
Happy Blorthog! Huh?
I imagine that Batman does the exact same thing, but without the music playing.
All he does, he just stares at pictures of his parents. It mentions here that he is playful, energetic, and often immature. When the other Titans are focused on important details, he's usually the first to break in with a preposterous suggestion or an unnecessary joke. Due to this, others sometimes view him as immature, thick-headed, and cumbersome. However, he continually proves invaluable with his kindness and battle prowess. Although he jokes most of the time, Beast Boy can be hot-headed and serious when pushed over the edge. And keep in mind as well, that's something they do point out, he has the most experience of anyone on the team. Especially, he has specifically more experience working as part of a team, which is why he's often the one who's the first to suggest team-up attacks.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing, isn't it? Of he's just the jokey one and shouldn't be taken seriously. But no, actually, in terms of tactics and stuff like that, he's one of the more valuable members.
And that's kind of like his value to the team, not necessarily his power, but just the sheer versatility of his power set, which we'll get to in a moment. And it mentions here, finally, Beast Boy loves women. He's a bit of a romantic with a flirtatious side, as shown during his relationship with Terra and in his fantasies, such as those involving the bee-ped.
Dudes and dudettes, I give you the bee-ped.
Beast Boy, you don't need a moped. You can fly.
Yeah, but my arms get tired.
Which is where he gets he gets a moped and just has in his head, he imagines just going around town dressed like a stereotypical Frenchman, just whining and dining the ladies.
Don't remember that.
And he hopes to become popular with women, and he also states that women dig his pointed ears and considers himself to be quite the ladies' man.
I mean, yeah, he's pretty charming.
In my experience, women tend to like puppies and cats, and when you can just become a puppy or a cat at will.
No, he can't. He can't become a puppy or a cat.
Yeah, he can. Oh no, he can become a tiger, right?
He can only become a tiger.
Lucas, you're thinking about the live-action Titans version, where all he can become is a tiger, leading to the joke we had. He should just be called Tiger Man in that show.
It's so depressing. You've got a character called Beast Boy and he's just tiger.
And he can turn into the entire animal kingdom. And I think even in the comics, it goes even further, and he can turn into shit that doesn't exist. He can turn into phoenixes and minotaurs and stuff like that. And he does mention that he has, there's a section on his relationships where it is quite lengthy. But I should note that, his two most important relationships within the team are Cyborg, who he views as, a bigger brother almost. And they have, a very paternal, that brotherly relationship where, they kind of give each other a hard time, but ultimately care about one another.
Working on your car? Bet you could use a few extra hands.
Nah, I can handle it. Besides, some of these tools are kinda...
Ooh, what's this do?
And then there's Raven. who it's suggested throughout the series that there might be some sort of like romantic undertones there, but because it is the Teen Titans, it's more often than not innocent flirtation, which I like. I like that it's more innocent and that you can read it that way, or you can read it just as they care about each other as just close friends of that age would.
Exactly, yeah. And it's just one of those nice things where it's like, it doesn't have to just be all about the fact that they want to get together. It's just, hey, they're both very close, and at some point, like, it could happen, but the show doesn't need to delve into it too much.
Maybe you should call me Beast Man from now on.
We're having a moment here. Don't ruin it.
And Lucas, here's the good stuff. Powers and abilities.
Yeah, I'm curious as to, like, what his powers and abilities are other than shape-shifting.
And here's a quote from Beast Boy describing his power set. Maybe you don't need to keep up with him. I can turn into the biggest, strongest, fastest animals on Earth. But you know what, dude? Sometimes it's best to be a slow and tiny turtle.
I can't think of many times where that would be the case, but yeah, sure.
You never know. Animal shape-shifting is Beast Boy's primary power. Beast Boy can transform his body into any known animal on Earth, past or present. He has also been known to change into alien life forms on occasion. And that's like where I think they're on an alien planet and he turns into this giant alien monster. And like, how did you know you could do that? I went, I guessed. He just guessed that there was an alien animal that looked like that and transformed into it.
How did you know you could do that?
Lucky guess.
Because that's the thing, right? Is the most restrictive part of his power set is knowledge of other animals.
Yep. And, like, you know, he often frequently studies the other animals. And he mentions here that Beast Boy can always revert back to his human form at any time of his own choosing or shift into numerous animal forms in rapid succession. Beast Boy is incapable of speech in animal form unless he takes the form of an animal that can talk, such as a parrot. His natural green colouring remains the same in any form, making him easily recognisable unless he turns into something that is green, like a crocodile. And just, yeah. And do you have, like, a favourite like, animal transformation of Beast Boys? Because there are many in the show. And the fact that there is, like, at least 24 different things he turns into during the course of the show for various reasons.
I mean, I just don't think you can really beat him just going real high up and turning into something very heavy like a whale.
Yeah, that's one of my... It's well, because he does the battle cry when he does it. I think he turns into a vole or something. They throw him up real high, then he just does a battle scream and turns into a blue whale. Because that's the other thing to note about his transformations as well. He takes on the relative characteristics of that animal.
Try not to be jealous.
He just put on 300,000 pounds. I am so jealous.
Which he can use for a variety of purposes, which include, but are not limited to. So, we have here his list of preferred forms, depending on the task. One of the most famous is his Tyrannosaurus Rex form, which is just heavy-duty combat. Because he's a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And not
hard to argue with.
It's hard to argue with the fact you can just randomly turn into a T-Rex at any moment. And when he needs to fly, he can turn into a pterodon, a falcon, owl, a vulture, a hawk, or an eagle. You know, depending on how high, fast he needs to fly and the amount of weight he needs to carry. You can also turn into a kangaroo when he requires supreme boxing skills or enhanced jumping, a cheetah, horse, or ostrich when he needs to run faster, a lion, a tiger, a Utah raptor, or a velociraptor for pouncing and lunging at enemies, a brown bear, gorilla, orangutan, or Sasquatch for more versatile strength in hand-to-hand combat. He can turn into a megatherium, an ankylosaurus, a stegosaurus, or brontosaurus when he needs weighty slam-downs.
Yeah, and just... the ability to turn into any dinosaur you want at any moment is strong enough.
Including just extinct creatures like a megatherium, which is like the giant sloth.
Oh, yes,
A blue whale when transporting teammates underwater, a barracuda, marlin, or sailfish for high speed and extra high speed swimming, a ram, musk, ox, bull, bison, hippopotamus, rhinoceros, elephant, woolly mammoth, or triceratops when he needs to charge through enemies or walls. A bat, hummingbird, pigeon, crane, or dragonfly for evasive purposes. That's the other thing as well, you can go from being like the size of a Tyrannosaurus to the size of a hummingbird. And keep in mind as well, he has full control over his body while he's doing this, and it can happen in like a quarter of a second.
Yeah, and that's one of the most ridiculous things about it, because as long as, again, he has the knowledge, which you say, you know, he literally sits there and studies like all of these different animals, because that's his power set, and like, you think of any specific thing that one animal can do in nature and how like specific certain animals are for certain tasks. And he can become any of them at a moment's notice.
Absolutely, yeah. We're only halfway through the list, Lucas. He can also turn into a dog, coyote, or wolf for sniffing out trails, a turtle, tortoise, crab, or armadillo for protection, a python or giant panda for squeezing opponents, a snake for slithering into narrow places. Similarly, you can become a fly, mouse, rat, or chameleon for stealth purposes, a monkey or a lemur or baboon or something for agility, a polar bear, penguin, walrus, fox, or camel for enduring hot and cold climates, respectively, a rabbit for enhanced hopping and speed and evasion, an octopus or squid for restraining and holding multiple objects, a llama for spitting saliva, an electric eel to shock enemies and short out machines, a flying squirrel to climb and glide in relative like safety because you can't really see him, a frog or giant anteater for snatching objects with a long tongue, a donkey for kicking, a skunk for stinking out opponents, a gopher for digging, a woodpecker for getting through wood, a giraffe for looking out for things into the distance, a wasp for stinging, a jellyfish for making use of his soft, squishy body and poisonous sting, a sea star for sticking to objects, and a kitten to do what he refers to as the face, which apparently most people cannot resist.
You know you can't resist the face. She resisted the face.
And then finally, if he really, really needs to, he can turn into an amoeba for microscopic duty. Do you know that joke about like, Ant-Man going into like into the Thanos and like just becoming Giant Man inside Thanos' ass? He could do that, but he could do it from being an amoeba, so he could crawl into your eye, and then when he's in your eye, he could turn into a bee, and now you got a bee in your eye.
What the? Blah, boy. I'm here to help. You're gonna be loads of help.
Multiply.
Or you could just turn into like a fucking blue whale.
Yeah, can you imagine that? You sort oh, my stomach really hurts. Then you just look down and there's just a crocodile inside you. What do you do?
Die.
Yeah. Now, Lucas, what do you do when just like crocodile gets in? Because that's the imagine like you're in a thing. He's like Beast Boy can't get in. He turns into an amoeba, goes through like the microscopic pores in whatever surface that you think can protect you, and then suddenly just a crocodile's inside the area with you.
And like that's the thing is, at any moment he can just transform into something else and get immediately out.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Even if you thought you got like the drop on him or something like that, you like maybe you shoot him, or you try to hit him, he could suddenly just turn into a wasp. You miss, and then suddenly where that wasp was is an alligator again. Then again, I just think of like the Ant-Man fight where Ant-Man like shrinks and goes back up to full size to surprise people. I'm just imagining it's that, but instead of turning into Ant-Man, he just turns into a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
Or a gorilla, or a Tyrannosaurus Rex, or an Ankylosaurus, or his most powerful form, the Werebeast.
Oh.
So this is like this is basically Beast Boy's Devil Trigger.
Right, I don't remember this.
One episode where just they think Beast Boy's gone feral because there's this crazy ass werewolf man roaming across the city causing all sorts of problems, and they think it's Beast Boy. And it turns out, no, it's another character who tried to replicate his powers, and he turns into that form to protect Raven. This is one of the reasons why people think there's maybe there's some sort of romantic inclination between the two. Because, even when he's in his, feral, animalistic, ultimate form, he still has the wherewithal to protect Raven.
And it's very funny, though, because the idea that any animal is being used to protect fucking Raven, the one that can, rip apart dimensions.
What's the thing? Sometimes she has an off day. And on those days, you can always count on Werewolf Boy to come and get her.
You are safe. He can no longer harm you.
He didn't hurt me. He saved me.
From what?
And the thing to note about the Werebeast form is, Lucas, is that it possesses greatly enhanced strength, agility, and speed, in addition to heightened senses and healing. And although it never makes it outright clear in the show, it can be surmised that it possesses just the absolute best of every animal Beast Boy has the potential to turn into. So it has, the strength, speed, agility, sensors, evasive skill, knowledge, and tracking capabilities of just every animal in the animal kingdom combined.
Right,
and we know this because in this form he's more feral and his human consciousness and judgment are partially subdued, and as a result the form is rarely used because he doesn't retain full control over it. However, it is easily one of his strongest known forms, as it took the combined efforts of Cyborg, Robin and Starfire just to stop him, and even then they only succeed in getting him to back down, not fully subduing him.
And that's one thing about the Teen Titans, is none of them are actually all that they're all powerful in their own way, but I don't think any of them are that powerful other than Raven, really.
Like Raven and Starfire. Like Starfire, like the Tamaranians in like DC Comics are like up there with Superman in some versions.
Yeah, and I think Starfire is probably like a very powerful character when not in like Teen Titans version, but I think obviously with them being teenagers, they're all a little bit depowered. Same with like Raven isn't just a complete god in Teen Titans like they are as an adult.
Well, I think it's like when Death Battle put her in, right? They made her fight the Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like the comparable level of power she has in DC, and it's that classic thing of like any just team up superhero show always has to neuter some of the characters, because otherwise you'd find yourself asking, why are some members of a team here? Like the joke we always make about like Justice League Unlimited is it should just be Superman and the Flash solve every problem, and Batman just pays for the repairs and does admin.
And that's the thing with Teen Titans is, you have someone like Beast Boy who, is good in combat, but also has, like, as we say, those tactics, and also is just a general, like, glue, as you mentioned earlier, to the team to keep spirits up and keep people going. And then you've got, Cyborg's good for obviously all the tech stuff. Robin's great for his leadership capabilities.
Not to mention his inventiveness in combat and just raw fighting prowess.
Yeah, exactly. So it does make sense for them to all team up, whereas when it gets to the point where you've got Superman and the Flash, that you don't really need anyone else. Like Superman's a good leader in his own way as well, and
he doesn't need to be a leader.
Yeah,
Superman doesn't need help, neither does the Flash, which is what makes it like when you watch like Justice League Unlimited, you'll notice that Superman and the Flash are conveniently always away when there's a problem that one of them could solve in like 4 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I like about Teen Titans is they generally don't have to do that. Like most episode has every member of the team there, and every member of the team does help in their own way.
And any time that there's a member of the team that is missing, it's actually part of the story and makes a point about the fact that they don't work as well as a team if one of them's not there.
Although they are individually very powerful, because I think throughout all 5 seasons of a show, I think it's 5 seasons, might be a bit more depending on which region you're watching it in, because sometimes they split them up, but every member of the team gets their own standalone episode where you get to see how powerful they are. One of my favourites being where Cyborg just gets challenged to a fight by like a pure robot man, and it's where he gets his ass beat. Like he gets he gets whomped. And he's like, the one thing I loved about when I was human, and it's again, it's better. Do you know when in the like Zack Snyder talks about how my Cyborg was really soulful and the character was really good, and it's mostly just that actor crying with shit CGI stuck on his face. The Teen Titans show handles it way better, where you have Cyborg just lamenting the fact he's not human, and when they ask him why, it's like, do you miss your dick or something? It's like, nah. When I was human, I could always get stronger. My favourite thing about being human is that when I trained, I could push past my limits. But now I'm a machine, I have set, defined limits. I literally know exactly what I can do and what the limits of my programming and my technology is. Then you have a great moment where he's in like a test of strength with a robot, and you see like his power meter go all the way up to 100%. And it's like, that's it, you've reached your limit.
You have reached your limit. You cannot win.
Then it goes past 100%. He goes plus ultra before plus ultra. Because he realises, yeah, okay, my machine parts have a limit, but the human parts, that's all me, baby.
Likewise, you can still push that part.
Likewise, when Beast Boy gets his Werebeast form, because they're talking about, well, it's Beast Boy, right? He's a joke, right? Like, what's Beast Boy gonna do? Oh, the reason why he's always holding back.
Mm-hmm.
Or like when Raven goes mad when like Trigon's coming in and she like defeats the villain of the week in 4 seconds, and they realise oh, she has to keep all the powers in check. Or where I think there's a great body swap episode where it's Raven and Starfire swap bodies. And like Starfire gets really excited about something. She's like, "Well, we must save our friends," and then just the room explodes. It's like, wait, you could have done that at any time. Raven's like, "Yeah, that's why I'm always such a sourpuss, because I can't show my emotions."
Then our friends are in danger. We must follow and... And what? Save them with my unusable powers while your unbridled emotions blow us to bits? Nice flying, by the way.
At least I am able to fly. On my planet, even a newborn can unleash the joy of flight. But you are too busy being grumpy and rude to feel anything at all.
And obviously, a big part of the Raven character in that show is like she basically can't let herself become unleashed, because then that has the effect of unleashing Trigon on the world.
Trigon's come in. Yeah, and like so every character gets their episode. Like the Robin one, where he makes the Red X suit. I love his alter ego. That's Edge, right? But the Red X suit is like probably the edgiest suit, but he gets away with it because Robin admits he made it to look like a villain. And then Red X comes back in a later episode where like someone steals the suit and you never find out who it is.
Do you not?
You never find out who it is. Just some guy steals the suit.
Red X? I thought Robin was Red X.
Think again.
Titans, go!
And something I mentioned earlier that I really enjoy about Teen Titans is that it blends humour and drama very well. And you can actually tell what kind of episode you're going to get based entirely on the song that plays in the opening few seconds. Because I think it's Puffy Army Yumi who did the soundtrack, and if you get the English version, that's going to be a generally more grounded episode. Maybe it'll progress the overarching plot for that season. If you get the Japanese version, that's going to be like a one-off fun plot. One of my favourite episodes involving a fun plot is where they just do wacky races, and it's like each member of the Titans and some of their villains just racing. And that's where Red X turns up on the Red X motorcycle.
God.
He just randomly turns up. It's great.
Saving me was a mistake.
Yeah, I don't remember that episode, but like it is one of those fun things about it being the cartoon. Is just, well, sometimes it can take itself seriously and have like actual important, things going on in the story, but other times it can just be a silly cartoon episode where it doesn't need to worry about anything.
But sometimes we can just do the Wacky Races episodes. They do the episode where like Mad Mod takes over and just they all turn British.
The sky looks like a giant British flag. The whole city's gone haywire.
Dude, tell me about it.
It's just the British episode. He's got the British beam. Just makes everyone British with a laser beam. But, to end on Lucas, weaknesses and then fighting style. So, the main weakness for Beast Boy is his vegetarian disposition. It literally writes vegetarianism as his weakness. So, in a nutshell, the phrase, "you are what you eat," is almost literal in this case. Having transformed into most meat-producing animals, it has made Beast Boy a strict vegetarian. His disposition often gets him arguing with others, especially Cyborg, because he constantly has the others attempt to adopt his culinary tastes as well. So he's basically that made-up version of a vegan that only exists on Reddit, where they ream people out for eating meat in front of them, but he's got a really good excuse for doing it of, "I've been most of those animals."
You just ate vegetables yesterday. Why would you want more?
I'm a vegetarian. That's what I eat every day.
Here, eat the sausage. It's shaped like a carrot.
Ew, no way.
I do like the phrasing though, meat-producing animals, as if it's like something that they're shitting out or something. It's no. Anything can be meat if you try hard enough. You know what I mean? Like,
if you are hungry enough, you can eat anything. And it mentions here that if Beast Boy is rendered unconscious while in animal form, he will revert back to his human form. When fighting villains, Beast Boy functions as the close-range blitzer of the team and is their premier rush-down specialist. That'd be his role in Street Fighter. With relentless assaults giving his enemies little room to breathe and allowing teammates like Raven, Cyborg and Starfire the space they need to be at their most effective. This is largely due to necessity, as Beast Boy is the only Titan to lack any sort of ranged offensive capabilities, and thus must get close to his enemies in order to deal damage. Fortunately, in this intended role, he excels, thanks to the fact he can transform into whatever animal is required for the situation at hand.
Thing is, it says he's got no range attacks, but I've seen a chimp shit in their hand and throw shit at people.
See, that'd be in Titan, right? That'd be in the live action show, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Fuck Batman.
And Lucas, before we go, let's just let everyone watching at home know that if they've enjoyed this video and would like to continue the conversation that we've been having between ourselves, they can do so by following the link to the Discord found below. Also, speaking of animals, if you have a particular pet animal you would like to share a picture of, we have a special section of that Discord dedicated to pictures of pets, one of which we'll pick each week to make the mascot for a podcast.
We do, yeah. We have a new pet of the week every single podcast now.
We do indeed, yes. If you think your pet's got the material, the bones, the cojones to be pet of the week, you can follow the links below to, prove it to us all, and hopefully we'll see your pets as the mascot on a future Pet of the Week segment on the podcast. They're Wednesdays, right? We do those Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays, yeah. And, if you want to just join and look at the pictures, then you can do that. And you can also just, leave reactions to vote for your favourite Pet of the Week as well, if you don't have one to share.
But overall, we just hope everyone's enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you all next time.